The knock on my moving truck wasn't just loud. It had accusation. I turned around, covered in dust, holding a box labeled Kitchen Nightmares, and there she was, Karen. Sunglasses on like she was hiding from the paparazzi. Clipboard in one hand. Phone in the other. She looked me up and down like I was tracking mud on a white carpet that didn't belong to me. "You can't just take things from this house," she snapped. I blinked. "Ma'am, I own this house." Karen narrowed her eyes like I had just claimed I was royalty. "This is a respectable neighborhood. I don't know where you came from, but I do know this home was recently vacated. And I don't recognize you." "Well, no duh. I just bought the property. Title in my email, keys in my hand, mortgage draining my soul and bank account in real time. I just closed last week," I said. "Got the keys Friday. I'm moving in." She sniffed. "That's what they always say." "Who's they, Karen? The League of Secret Ranch Burglars?" And before I could explain further or offer her the realtor's number, she walked away, but not before muttering, "I'm calling the police." I stood there in stunned silence, holding a lamp and a toaster like I was about to loot my own kitchen. Exactly 14 minutes later, yes, I counted, because I'm petty like that, I heard sirens. Of course I did. One sheriff SUV rolled up, followed by another. Then a third. Apparently, I looked extra suspicious in my sweatpants and cowboy boots ensemble. Karen was standing triumphantly on her porch, arms crossed, looking like she'd just summoned justice from the sky. One of the officers got out and approached me carefully, hand near his holster. "Sir, we got a report of suspicious activity. Possible theft in progress." Suspicious activity? I pointed to my U-Haul, still open, full of boxes labeled things like bathroom towels and dog stuff. "Yeah," I said. "I'm suspiciously trying to move into my own house." He raised an eyebrow. "Do you have proof of ownership?" I didn't say anything. I just pulled out my phone, tapped twice, and handed it to him. Title deed. Signature. Closing documents. Picture of me in front of the house with a thumbs up like an idiot. The officer stared at it for a while. Then looked at Karen. She was already walking over like she was about to get Employee of the Month for citizen policing. "Officer, I just wanted to be safe," she started. "He was taking furniture out of the house. How was I supposed to know he wasn't stealing it?" "Because," I cut in, "I was putting things into the house. You know. As people do when they move in." Karen wasn't fazed. "We have rules here," she sniffed. "People don't just move in without notifying the HOA board." Ah. There it was. The root of all neighborhood evil. The HOA. Now let me rewind. See, this wasn't just any house. This was my ranch. I'd spent years saving for this place. Acres of land, barn out back, porch wide enough to host a jazz band. It was a dream. Except, the previous owners had enrolled it in the neighborhood HOA. Which, fine, I thought. Mow your lawn. Keep your fence painted. Don't turn your front yard into a zombie apocalypse scene. Whatever. But I underestimated the HOA. Or, more specifically, I underestimated Karen, the self-appointed queen of the association. Her first mistake was thinking she could intimidate me out of my own home. Her second mistake? Calling the cops. Her third? Well, that came later. Once the officers realized this was a false alarm, again, my name was literally on the property, they apologized. One even chuckled and said, "Honestly, she does this all the time." Oh? All the time? Apparently Karen had a record for citizen reports. Called in a landscaping crew once because she thought they were cartel. Flagged a school bus for being too yellow. Reported an Amazon delivery guy for loitering aggressively. They basically had her on speed dial. After the sheriff left, Karen tried to brush it off. "You'll understand once you've lived here a while," she said. "We have standards. This is a family neighborhood." And then she handed me a 3-ring binder. Not a welcome gift. Not cookies. A binder. Inside? The HOA guidelines. Printed in Comic Sans. Now, I'm not against a few ground rules. But this thing was a novel. Section 4.7, lawn flamingos are considered disruptive and emotionally destabilizing. Section 5.3, no garage doors may be open for more than 7 minutes. Section 8.9, no fences over 3 feet tall unless they are aesthetically pleasing to the community's vision, which apparently meant white picket and nothing else. And my personal favorite? Section 11.2, no livestock of any kind, including goats, chickens, or ducks. Buddy. I moved here for the goats. The next day, I got my first HOA notice. Not a letter. Not an email. A hand-delivered citation for excessive use of brown boxes. Yes. For having too many moving boxes on my porch. I stared at the paper like it was written in a different language. $25 fine. Due in 3 days. Oh, it was on. Over the next week, Karen went full suburban warlord. She reported my moving van for taking up visual space. Filed a noise complaint because my dog barked once at a squirrel. Tried to enforce a no curtain until HOA approval policy. Lady. I'm not asking permission to hang my curtains. Then came the big one. She emailed the board saying she believed I was a threat to the community's cohesion and requested a vote to revoke my resident privileges. You know what that means? They wanted to fine me $150 a week for being uncooperative. In my own house. On my own land. That's when I knew Karen wanted me gone. And she didn't care how she did it. So, I gave her what she wanted. Sort of. See, if Karen wanted drama, she picked the wrong rancher. I may be new to the neighborhood. But I'm not new to dealing with bullies. So the next morning, I drove down to the county records office. I had one question: was there any way to remove my ranch from the HOA? Turns out, yep. Buried deep in the original deed paperwork, there was a clause. If the land reached a certain acreage and was used for agricultural purposes, I could apply for an exemption from the HOA. All I needed was evidence. And animals. So I made some calls. Within 72 hours, I had 5 goats, 3 chickens, a duck named Maurice, and a rooster named Chaos. Karen came marching over the second the first baw hit the breeze. You can't have livestock, she screeched. I just smiled. You're right. Unless I'm farming. What kind of farm keeps a duck in a sweater? A stylish one, I said. She tried everything. Called animal control, they laughed. Called zoning, they confirmed I was within rights. Called the sheriff again, he told her, you need a hobby. And the best part? 2 weeks later, my exemption was approved. Effective immediately, my ranch was no longer subject to the HOA. Karen? Powerless. She showed up one final time, standing at the edge of my lawn like a defeated final boss. You think you're clever? She hissed. No, I said, sipping lemonade. I know I am. You'll regret this. I'll send you goat cheese for Christmas, I said. Maurice is learning how to churn. Now? Karen keeps her distance. The HOA sends me flyers I use to start my fire pit. My goats roam freely. Maurice waddles wherever he pleases. And I put a flamingo on the lawn just because I can. Sometimes, when the wind's just right, I hear Karen muttering across the fence line. But you know what? This is my land. My ranch. My rules. And if the HOA ever tries me again? Well, let's just say the hose is still hooked up. The end. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more HOA drama. Have you ever had a neighbor like Karen? Tell me below, I've got lemonade and popcorn ready.